Today's cut from the landscape design will feature wild Ligustrum, fringe tree, Deutzia, and Snowball Viburnum. Welcome to the back porch for another cut from the landscape floral design. Today we're going to be using this beautiful swan container from Porchview Home. For all Porchview Home products, just go to porchviewhome.com. This is something that's intended perhaps for a rental item. It's easy to store away, so it takes up minimal space in your flower shop shelves or your warehouse. Simply insert the head into the metal sleeve. There's a wing nut here, and tighten the wing nut. For the mechanics of the swan container, it's always best to use a liner. This is a large loamy dish, clear, could be any color really. It's got 2 soaked blocks of floral foam, Oasis floral foam. It's secured with floral tape, and over the foam is chicken wire, which will be a reinforcer and keep that foam from breaking up with all the stem insertions we're going to put into it. Simply drop the loamy dish in place and you're ready to go. Now, sometimes to do things quickly, we'll take pot of ivies and just drop them in. And this could all be plant materials if you'd like, because the tray is a nice holder for them. So we'll position this here. Now we've got quick coverage with our greenery. Now we're going to use our materials just sort of create this whimsical swan. It is, some people call it Grandpa's beard. It's a common name. It is fringe tree. And I thought it would be very pretty, like billowy down feathers. When you're choosing your materials, of course, the requirement for this was it should be white, it's a swan, and texture. Texture is really important. On new spring growth that's cut from the landscape, make sure that it's sturdy enough. I think this is good. If for some reason the terminal tips do tend to, if they wilt, just go in and discreetly, you don't want to chop it, just go in and at an angle, tip them back. That will eliminate that new tender growth that might fail on you. And even though this is okay, I believe, I'm not gonna take a chance. A lot of times you have, this is really grows all over wild along the freeway. It's Ligustrum, it's a privet. Really the only time you notice it is when it's in bloom in the summer. It smells and it attracts flies. But the rest of the time of the year, it has this beautiful foliage and these long pieces. And since it's grown wild, it's something you could collect and for a minimal cost, almost free, you could say, except for your time and labor. It makes a beautiful way to sort of stretch your budget because it's something you can collect. It holds up beautifully and it really extends the work. Makes things bigger. And if you really want to go big, you can. And oftentimes the last few branches you may want to insert actually when you get to the site. It's real easy to do. Just take the big stuff with you. And when you're designing, just make sure and leave a space where those long, extending, dramatic branches are going to go. And since this is a bird, you want to make sure and create this tail. You can go online and look at different images of swans so you get the right look. This is Deutzia. And actually it's the hardest part is trying to figure out how to pronounce the name. And it's a member of the hydrangea family. Now normally in something like this wispy, I would look to bridal wreath spirea, but I'm really about 2 weeks late in the landscape. It's pretty much gone. So I was really happy to find the Deutzia as a great, almost a better substitute than the spirea. You have to think how you have to think how a swan has wings, and they sort of preen. We're just sort of gonna duplicate that a little bit. You know, materials have a natural arch, a natural curve to them, and so you never want to fight that curve. You want to work with the natural qualities of the material. And this is a beautiful, graceful look to it. It's a beautiful shrub. It gets about 4 feet tall, and I just picked up 6 new plants because I wasn't sure how well they would do, and they are doing fantastic. Survived the snow, so I'm excited. Now let's take a look. We have this. So now I would say you could come in and play a Blanco roses. It'd be gorgeous here. But I have Snowball Viburnum. So I thought this could be very pretty, just sort of tucked in to create the body of the swan. Ooh. This is European Snowball. It's a little more graceful in its habit, sort of fountain shaped than Chinese Viburnum that was blooming earlier in the year. We're removing a lot of the foliage because the foliage is really not what you need, and it doesn't hold up that great. And we'll just keep filling these in until we have coverage. And we sort of kept the stem short and elongated them to just sort of create the arch of the body. Now, let's say you could call it done, or if you want to be a lot more dramatic, you could get to the site and place these last few stems of Snowball Viburnum. So we'll just keep adding these beautiful extensions. And really, when you take the stems up high, you really see the beauty of the pendulous sort of quality of the material. And there you have it. That's the swan container with a floral arrangement using Snowball Viburnum, Ligustrum foliage, Fringe tree, and Deutzia. We'll see you next time on the porch.